What's up everyone? Alex here. How was March for you? I'm still trying to catch up with all the games that came out, and thankfully, April doesn't seem particularly packed. That doesn't mean that there's no games coming out though, so I'm here to share with you what games are coming out in April. That being said, I did miss a couple of games that came out in March for one reason or another, so let me recap the two other games that came out. The Cruel King and the Great Hero, a cute turn-based JRPG directed by Sayaka Oda, who was responsible for The Liar Princess and The Blind Prince. The game's art style is so consistent with the latter that I actually thought that it was some sort of re-release. My bad. The Cruel King and the Great Hero is out now on the Nintendo Switch and PS4. CRYSTAR is a Switch port of the same action RPG released on PS4 and PC back in 2019. With March squared away, here are some of the games that I'd like to highlight that are coming out in April. I don't know much about the history behind the lack of Squaresoft releases in Europe, but to my understanding, many of these recent remasters were made with the intention of bringing classic Square Enix games to that region. So, fittingly, for the first time in 22 years, Chrono Cross is finally coming out in Europe, as well as other regions outside of Japan and North America. Chrono Cross has over 40 party members and multiple endings, so there's a lot of game there. But more importantly, Chrono Cross features, in my opinion, the best soundtrack Yasunori Mitsuda ever composed in his entire career. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition, not only contains a remastered version of the original game, but also Radical Dreamers, a game that was only released in Japan on the Satellaview. Radical Dreamers is very important as it bridges the gap between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, and I consider it a must-play if you want to learn how both games are connected. And for collectors out there, there's even a physical version of this re-release as well. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition, comes out on April 7th on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, with a Switch physical edition available for pre-order and releasing shortly afterwards. I spent 20 minutes talking about 13 Sentinels Aegis Rem when it first came out in 2020, and 2 years later, and after a whole bunch of comments saying it'll never perform well on the Nintendo Switch, well, we're getting a Switch port. Set at several points in time, this incredible game blends classic point-and-click adventure games, stop calling it a visual novel, with a battle system that blends Final Fantasy's active time battle with elements of tactical games to a fine point. What results is one of my favorite games of all time, no hyperbole, and you'd be a fool not to play this game if you haven't already. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim comes out on April 12th for the Nintendo Switch. Check out my massive review by clicking the link in the description or on the card shown. I guess I'm a sucker for these smaller Nintendo sports titles, because Nintendo Switch Sports really caught my eye when they revealed it during the Nintendo Direct. Featuring all new ways of play, Nintendo Switch Sports aims to bring back the ease of play that Wii Sports was so famous for. Just make sure people have their wrist straps on, so you don't destroy your precious HD TVs. Nintendo Switch Sports comes out exclusively on the Nintendo Switch on April 29th. And here are the rest of the games coming out in April. TERRORBANE is coming out on Nintendo Switch and PC on April 1st. Road 96 is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Series X and S, Switch, and PC on April 14th. LEGO Star Wars: The SKYWALKER Saga is coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC on April 5th. And that's all the games coming out in April. Which games are you looking to pick up this month? Are you going to use this lull to catch up on your backlog? Post your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.